All right, today we're headed deep into the Himalayan foothills of Himachal Pradesh, to a place that's pretty special. A place where a legend isn't just told, it's the landscape itself. We're going to dive into a story that's literally etched in water.
So, can a legend actually become a lake? I mean, it sounds like something from a storybook, right? But here, standing by this incredibly peaceful water, it's not just a story, it's a belief people live by. Let's get into it.
So where are we? We're at Renuka Lake, tucked away in the Sirmar district of Himachal Pradesh. And trust me, this is no ordinary body of water. People here believe the lake is a goddess. Just picture this, a totally serene valley, green forests all around, these rolling hills, and the water is just perfectly still, like a mirror for the sky. But for the people who live here, this isn't just geography. No way. This is a living, sacred being. This is the goddess Renuka.
And get this, it's not just spiritually huge. It's also the largest natural lake in the entire state of Himachal Pradesh. So you have to wonder, right? How did this particular lake get tied to such an incredible story? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go way back to an ancient legend.
Okay, so to really get what this lake is all about, we need to dive into a classic story from the Puranas. It's a real epic tale of devotion, a cruel king, and a truly mind-blowing transformation.
So our story centers around two main figures, the goddess Renuka, who is known for her incredible purity, and her husband, a really powerful sage named Jamadagni. They had a pretty peaceful life, but you know how these stories go. That peace wasn't going to last.
And here's where the trouble starts. This tyrannical king, Sahasrarjuna, shows up. He's full of himself, totally arrogant, and he attacks their home. But he wasn't there just to conquer the land. Nope, he wanted to kidnap the goddess. And that one act, well, it kicked off a whole series of tragic and ultimately divine events.
So there she is, cornered by this awful king, and she has to make a choice. Instead of letting him dishonor her, she makes this incredibly powerful decision to protect her honor. She sacrifices herself by jumping into a lake right there.
And this, right here, is the heart of the whole legend. Her sacrifice wasn't the end, not at all. It was a transformation. The belief is that her spirit literally became one with the water. The whole lake became her divine body. So you see, she didn't just die in the lake, she became the lake. Incredible.
Okay, so that's the ancient story, but how is it remembered today? Let's take a look. Right on the shore, there's this gorgeous temple, a real physical monument to this powerful legend.
Now, the story itself is timeless, but the building you see today, this actual temple, was built around 1814. It's become the center point for thousands of pilgrims who travel here every year, trying to connect with that divine energy.
And the building itself is really unique. You can't miss it, with its famous peach color and those two domes. Inside, of course, the main shrine is for goddess Renuka. But right next to it is another shrine, this one for her son, Lord Parasharma. And he is a super important part of what happens next.
You know, this whole story isn't just something people read about in old books. It's a living, breathing tradition that comes alive every single year in this huge, spectacular festival. It's called the Renuka Ji Fair, and it happens around October or November. I mean, this is the big event for the whole region. People come from everywhere to be part of this incredible symbolic reunion that is really the soul of this place.
So what actually happens? Well, it all starts when an idol of Lord Parashurama arrives, carried in this amazing silver palanquin. Then, pilgrims take a dip, a ritual bath, in the sacred water, which is, remember, his mother's form. This all leads up to a symbolic meeting of mother and son, and that's what kicks off 5 straight days of music, festivities, and prayer. The energy is just incredible.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Because the lake and the temple, they're not just on their own. They're actually the heart of a much, much bigger sacred and natural ecosystem.
So the lake itself, if you were to walk all the way around it, is about 2.4 kilometers. But it's sitting inside the Renuka Wildlife Sanctuary, which is way, way bigger. And that contrast between the sacred body of water and the huge wild forest all around it, that's really key to understanding this place.
And this idea leads us to a really important concept in Hindu tradition. See, a place like this isn't just a spot on a map. It's thought of as a spiritual crossing point, a place where the line between our world and the divine world gets really thin, where nature and faith just completely merge.
The official word for this is a tirtha. In Sanskrit, it literally means a crossing, like a river ford. But spiritually, it's a place of pilgrimage, where you can cross over from the everyday world into the sacred. And Renuka Lake, being the literal body of a goddess, well, it's pretty much the perfect example of a powerful tirtha.
So that brings us back to where we started. What happens when a landscape holds a memory? Well, here at Renuka Lake, the landscape becomes sacred. The water isn't just holding the story, the water is the story. It's this beautiful, timeless reminder of sacrifice, of divinity, and of that incredible connection between our faith, the natural world, and the stories we tell.